Most of you aren't subscribed. Make sure to subscribe, as it helps out the channel. Without further ado, the series kicks off with several men aboard Navy ships, surveying a nearby island, all stating that their weapons have no chance against mysterious enemies. Heading onto the island, we follow several hunters facing the mysterious enemies, a swarm of monster red ants. As the frontline hunters work together, they attempt to physically stall the red ants, all whilst other hunters barrage the ants with spells, but sadly the hunters are ultimately overrun by the swarm. As they all begin begging for their lives, the hunters all note how they are far too low level to be facing such powerful creatures, but just then, Byung-ji-yu, SSS-RANK healer, arrives. As Byung-ji-yu begins healing the injured, Yun-sok wielding lightning magic, and Yonho wielding martial arts skills, begin clearing the area of the swarm of red ants. Amazed that the three S-rank hunters were easily able to save them, everyone suddenly senses a greater white ant monster appear, prompting Yun-sok and Yonho to volunteer to defeat the monster, all whilst Byung-ji-yu continues to treat the injured. With both S-rank adventurers dashing towards the white ant, Yonho chooses to wrestle with the creature, giving Yun-sok enough time to prepare a powerful lightning spell, perfectly striking the white ant from behind. As the creature is temporarily paralyzed, Yonho rips off the white ant's two front-facing fangs, leaping back, only to launch one of the torn-off fangs at the white ant, easily carving a hole in the creature's torso with his projectile. With no time to breathe, both S-rank hunters spot swarms of white ants approaching their location, forcing Yuho to awaken his berserker mode, and Yun-sok to unleash simultaneous waves of lightning. Cutting to a nearby town on the same island, we spot Guildmaster Choi rally several other hunters in town, all standing off against a swarm of ants. Channeling a single flame spell, Choi signals the start of their raid on the ants, easily incinerating the weaker red ants, only to order his guild to begin attacking the greater white ants. Apparently, 10 years ago, several gates had begun appearing out of nowhere, allowing powerful monsters deemed magic beasts to appear. Seeing as conventional military weapons were useless against these magic beasts, it was discovered that humans began awakening with powers and skills that could rival the appearance of these magic beasts. These people were called hunters. Once a hunter had awakened, they would be given a rank from rank S to rank E, and sadly once someone has awakened, there would be no way of improving one's rank no matter how hard they trained. Cutting to the present day, 3 years later, we see a Mr. Kim sipping on some coffee in preparation for a raid only to greet Park. Mr. Kim learns that Park's wife has recently gotten pregnant again, explaining Park's reason for attending their raid today, as he hopes to earn some extra cash for the family. Just then, our MC, Sung Jinwoo, arrives, greeting everyone as everyone is clearly happy to hear that Jinwoo is here. Seeing the attention Jinwoo is getting, Park asks Mr. Kim if Jinwoo is absurdly strong, but Mr. Kim corrects Park, stating that Jinwoo had been deemed the weakest adventurer ever to be discovered, and the reason everyone is happy is because they know any raid Jinwoo partakes in will be easy for them. Cutting over to Jinwoo, we see him hold in the sadness from overhearing Mr. Kim and Park gossip about his weak status, but suddenly bumps into Juhee, happy to be working with her again. Cutting Jinwoo off, Juhee demands to know why Jinwoo is so covered in scars, but as they sit down, Juhee helplessly listens as Jinwoo recounts his latest raid on an E-rank dungeon, blaming himself for not being strong enough to avoid being hurt. Before Juhee can say anything, they are both called to have a group meeting. Introducing himself as Song Cheol, Song states that he will be leading their raid, since he is the most highly ranked out of their party. With the meeting over, everyone begins making their way over to a portal, all heading in one by one, leaving only Jinwoo left. Taking out a blade he was barely able to afford, Jinwoo takes a deep breath, gripping his blade tight, only to head through the portal. Elsewhere, we follow an old man, Go Gunhee, chatting with one of his employees, mentioning how the items collected upon slaying magic beasts are known as essence stones. Cutting back to Jinwoo, we see that he has managed to slay a magic beast by himself, acquiring an essence stone, but is caught off guard when a goblin sneaks up on him. Able to dodge the goblin's advances, Jinwoo goes in for a strike, but his blade shatters upon impact, leaving Jinwoo wide open for the goblin to stab him. Seeing Jinwoo in trouble, Park runs over to slay the goblin, heading back to help the rest of the group with other monsters, all whilst Juhee is forced to stop Jinwoo from bleeding out. As Jinwoo lies on the floor, He admires Song's magnificent skills, but just then we cut back to Go Gunhee talking more about the uses of essence stones. Go Gunhee states that stones acquired from slaying magic beasts allow powerful weapons to be crafted, but similar things can be done to mana crystals collected from dungeon raids. Most importantly, Go Gunhee states that the government is attempting to harvest energy from these mana and essence crystals, hopefully discovering a brand new way of acquiring energy. Back with Jinwoo, we see that his party had managed to deal with the swarm of monsters and the dungeon's boss, but Jinwoo notices Juhee's serious look. Juhee states that she is seriously worried for Jinwoo, not wanting him to push himself into dangerous situations. Just then, one of their party members points out that there is a tunnel that leads somewhere, catching everyone's attention as they suspect that this may be a double dungeon. Since the party wasn't able to acquire that much loot from their current dungeon, several people reason that they should be able to acquire extra loot, but the group leader Song wants to make sure everyone is on board. Upon taking a vote, Song counts 6 votes for continuing into the second dungeon and 6 votes against, leaving only Jinwoo's vote. Thinking about his current situation, Jinwoo reveals that his father had gone missing, his mother is currently hospitalized and his sister is about to enter college soon. Since he is the only one that can work, Jinwoo votes for entering the second dungeon. Cutting to Guildmaster Choi and his massive building, we see him mentioning a hunter by the name of Cha Hae-in, but just then, right outside his building, we see 2 thieves steal a lady's handbag, fleeing on a motorcycle. Before the thieves can escape, Cha Hae-in appears, easily retrieving the stolen bag, only to leap away to avoid being swarmed, having become famous from being a S-rank hunter. Back with Jinwoo and his party, we see him apologizing to Juhee, always thankful for a B-rank hunter like Juhee being there for him, but sees that Juhee is clearly mad at Jinwoo for voting to explore the dungeons. Since dungeons close after a dungeon's boss is defeated, the party note how they have around 20 minutes to spare, but Juhee is pissed that Jinwoo is always putting his life in danger, but to make up for it, she demands Jinwoo take her out for a meal, as a thanks for always taking care of him. Just then, the gang encounter a huge set of intimidating doors, but holding back their fear, they venture onwards. As they enter a massive room, they notice the room automatically light up, spotting various statues littered around the edge of the room. Seeing a massive statue in particular, everyone begins wondering what the challenge of this dungeon could be, but as they begin inspecting the room more, they stumble upon some writing in the room. With the leader Song reading out the commandments of the Kartenon Temple, the commandments state that they must fear, praise and prove their faith to God, or else they will not leave alive. Just then, the room's doors slam shut, prompting one of their group members to get freaked out, stating that they will personally be leaving. Before the group member can reach the doors, one of the statues suddenly moves, instantly decapitating the group member, leaving everyone in shock. Trying to digest the situation, Jinwoo notes how the group member that was instantly killed was at least D rank, and seeing as that single statue was able to move, Jinwoo turns around to observe the massive statue behind them, breathing heavily as the statue's eyes suddenly glares at him. Having survived death many times, Jinwoo had learned to survive with the most minimal of equipment, and instead rely on his instincts. Sensing something from the statue's eyes, Jinwoo cries for everyone to get down, right as the statue's eyes shoot a powerful beam at everyone in the party. With another one of their members incinerated, everyone begins to beg for their life, all whilst Jinwoo racks his brain to figure out how to survive. Seeing that the giant statue has ceased its attacks, several group members state that they should all make a run for it while they still can, but Song orders everyone to stay still, not wanting to provoke the statues. Turning to Jinwoo, Song commends Jinwoo's senses, as if it was not for Jinwoo alerting everyone to the giant statue's eyes, everyone would have been dead. Grateful for the thanks, Jinwoo realizes that Song has lost one of his arms, so the least he could do is help Song stop the bleeding. Seeing Juhee so shaken up, Song reveals that the reason a B-rank hunter like Juhee only participates in low dungeon raids is sadly due to her weak mental state to violence. Additionally, Song mentions how although he too has participated in several B-rank dungeon raids himself, he has never faced such a powerful creature like the giant statue, suspecting the creature of being S-rank. Sitting down and re-evaluating their clues carved onto the stone, Song and Jinwoo wonder if the god they must worship, pray and believe is the giant statue before them. At the same time, Jinwoo's sister, Gina chats with her friend at school, who is curious about Jinwoo, wondering why a hunter like him is always so injured. With no current plan, Song and Jinwoo agree that they should wait a bit longer, to hopefully see something change. At that moment, one of the party members begins to break, stating that he had recently signed with a prestigious guild, and that he doesn't want to die now. Encasing himself with a wind spell, the hunter dashes towards the gate, confident that he'll make it, but instantly, the hunter is vaporized. Disgusted to see another party member helplessly die, Jinwoo wonders why the statues don't just slaughter them, suddenly realizing something. Remembering that the first commandment from the stone is to worship God, Jinwoo begins to slowly stand up, but Song demands Jinwoo not do anything foolish. Upon seeing Jinwoo's determined eyes, Song allows Jinwoo to proceed, prompting Jinwoo to continue to stand up, only to immediately duck and bow his head upon spotting the giant statue's eyes light up. With everyone curious about what just happened, Jinwoo suspects that the giant statue only attacks people when they reach a certain height, therefore they should all bow to the giant statue. Seeing as everyone has bowed their heads, Jinwoo peeks to see the statue's eyes, relieved that the eyes have turned off, but instead the statue dons a terrifying grin. With nothing else happening, everyone notices that they are now allowed to stand up, exciting the party, but Jinwoo notes something is off. Just then, the giant statue stands up, slowly marching towards the members, all whilst holding its terrifying smirk. Thinking about the second commandment, Jinwoo racks his brain on ways to praise God, but out of nowhere, one of the party members suggests that they praise God through words, choosing to kneel before and recite a prayer. As everyone watches as the statue slowly approaches the knelt-down hunter, they all are forced to watch as the giant statue mercilessly stomps on the knelt-down hunter, following up by killing another frightened hunter. Seeing as it is too dangerous to stick together, everyone splits up, prompting Jinwoo to grab hold of the frightened Juhee, dragging her with him. Following Park, we see that he has made it towards the edge of the dungeon, thinking about how he still has a loving wife and kids that he must return to, but sadly one of the night statues cleave Park's body in half. Attempting to come up with a plan, Jinwoo notices Juhee's disturbed expression along with several hunters begging for their lives. Jinwoo digs deeper to come up with a plan. Scanning the statues around the edge of the dungeon, Jinwoo spots a statue with a musical instrument, ordering everyone to head towards that statue. With Song heading to his nearest statue, Song spots the statue playing its instrument, stating that it's safe to head to statues with musical instruments, prompting Mr. Kim to successfully find a statue of his own, only to begin breaking down crying. Jinwoo and Juhee have also arrived at a music-playing statue, but Jinwoo notes that the statue isn't playing its instrument, deducing that only one person can stand below each music-playing statue. Leaving the frightened Juhee beneath the statue, Jinwoo runs to search for another statue, catching the attention of the giant statue. Barely able to spot a music-playing statue, Jinwoo is barely able to avoid the giant statue's advances, but unfortunately wounds up beneath a shield-wielding statue. With the shield statue bringing its shield down on Jinwoo, he barely manages to survive, managing to crawl to a music-playing statue. With everyone now under a music-playing statue, they all spot the giant statue go back to its original location, seemingly turning off. Rushing to Jinwoo's side, Juhee notices Jinwoo's severed leg, immediately applying her healing magic, but Juhee is unable to completely heal Jinwoo, having depleted all her mana. With everyone wondering what now, Mr. Kim speaks up, demanding that Song take accountability, being the leader of the group that agreed to explore this dungeon. Just then, an altar appears in the middle of the dungeon, prompting Jinwoo to realize that the altar aligns with the third commandment, as by believing in God, someone must be sacrificed. Hearing this, Mr. Kim raises his blade to Song's neck, ordering Song to sacrifice himself and atone for his sins. With Song agreeing, Jinwoo thinks about how this is wrong, as everyone voted and agreed as a group, but when Song enters the vicinity of the altar, an orange flame appears. Curious as to the reason for this, Jinwoo asks two other party members to help him enter the altar's domain, prompting 3 more orange flames to appear. With Jinwoo attempting to figure out what is happening, Song reminds Jinwoo that today is the 7th day of their dungeon raid, meaning if they wait any longer to defeat this dungeon, the dungeon itself will open. This is referred to as a dungeon break, as the dungeon will act as a portal between the human world and the monsters. With Jinwoo asking for Juhee and Mr. Kim to enter the vicinity of the altar as well, we see 6 orange flames in total, but just then, an additional ring of blue flames appear around them along with the dungeon doors opening. As the blue flames begin to disappear one by one, everyone notices the statues along the edge of the dungeon begin to move, fearing what will happen when the statues reach them. Jinwoo is able to figure out that the statues only move when they aren't looking at them, but with the temptation of freedom before them. One of the female hunters beside Jinwoo makes a break for the door, managing to escape successfully, but one of the orange flames disappears. Seeing her escape, another hunter pushes Jinwoo aside, also managing to escape, leaving only 4 remaining. Seeing Mr. Kim tempted by freedom as well, Jinwoo states that they need at least 4 people to stop all the statues, and that once the blue flames all disappear, they can all escape. Sadly, Mr. Kim apologizes in tears, stating that they can't be certain that they can escape, only to escape out of the dungeon himself. Knowing that they will all die soon, Song asks that Joohee and Jinwoo leave him, as they need at least one person in the vicinity of the altar to keep the door open. As Joohee attempts to move, Joohee falls to her knees, as her fatigue has finally kicked in. With no other choice, Song and Jinwoo agree that Jinwoo will stay behind, unable to move himself, and Song will carry Joohee to safety. When Joohee offers to stay behind, Jinwoo states that she must live, handing her the essence stone he obtained, only for Song to knock Joohee unconscious, carrying her on his shoulder, only to leave the dungeon. With Jinwoo alone, he attempts to stand off against the swarm of statues, but instead is brutally flung around, ultimately falling onto the center of the altar, bleeding out. As the statues puncture his body with their weapons, Jinwoo cries out that he has a family as well, demanding for a second chance. As everything goes black, a sudden system terminal pops up, stating that Jinwoo has completed the secret quest, Courage of the Weak. The system terminal asks if Jinwoo wants to be given the player status, reminding Jinwoo that his heart will stop in 0.02 seconds, prompting Jinwoo to accept the offer. Check out one of our other videos on the screen or in the info card above. Subscribe, like and comment.